On the last video, 100 people watching. Countless comments. Couldn't tell you how many comments. 5 whole likes. Likes seem to be the hardest thing to come by. People are stingy about that shit. And then about 45 minutes into my feed, suddenly the comments stop. And the number starts falling. Now it keeps trying to go back up, so people are still trying to stay on. But I would imagine when they got here and they realized something fucked up was happening, they were like, oh, I don't want to be here anymore. I've experienced this now 2 or 3 times, I think, where the feed has just gone haywire like that. And what do you guys think? I'm maintaining 100 viewers for an hour. Do you think that would make me viable? Don't you think that would be something somebody would take interest in? Betcha I don't get monetized. Betcha I approached for sponsorship deals. Betcha none of that happens on my page. And I'm putting out numbers that people with 50,000 subscribers and shit put out. That's 600 something. Tell me what's going on. So now are we going to go to nothing? No viewers? I mean, it's only been 2 minutes, so usually it takes like 7-8 minutes before it really gets going. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Sure would be interesting if my feed goes haywire. Okay, well, we've already got 2, so maybe it's going to start back up. Who knows? But if you can comment, by all means, please do. And what I'd really appreciate is if you tell me what I'm wrong about and how I'm wrong. Hi, Zoxy. Zoxy. There we go. We've got the people. Oh, look at that. Don't forget to like, share, and sub all of you people that are here. That should be a rule, shouldn't it? If you're going to allow me to entertain you, at least pay the ticket price. Where am I from? The United States. From Michigan. Just outside Detroit.
Baby.
Yeah.
Murder capital of the world. Woo!
If the fact that they have us, they have you thinking that civic pride, racial pride, all that shit matters. It just goes to show you, like, it absolutely matters to them. And it's one of the things they use as, like, the justification for their attitudes, their control, all of it as well. Do you know who we are and where we're from? We are God's chosen people. God chose us. Yeah, we're the bad guys in the Bible. We killed your Jesus. Yeah. But we're the chosen people. Indonesia, I think it's the strangest thing how many people have, like, my feed, I'm in Michigan, and every time I go live, my feed gets kicked out to Indonesia. I have multiple Indonesians that come in at first every single time. Why would that happen? No. Facebook doesn't work that way. Or these things don't work this way. Social media shit. It's about, the location. They're going to get you people close to you. Specifically Indonesia. Why would it, like, I'm like really proud. Like, I hope the Indonesians agree and they're like, they agree with what I'm saying. They understand the Jew control thing. Like, I hope the Indonesians are willing to fight against the Jewish masters. Please, that's great. I just think it's strange that it happens. And Turtlefoot says strange for sure. I don't know. It's up to you. I mean, it really is like it just like everything else you believe, whether it's your silly God or it's your, your Trump beliefs or your Kamala beliefs or your, science beliefs, round earth belief, whatever. It's all just shit you're told to believe, and you choose which parts you want, which parts you like. Nobody like sticks with something and goes, well, this is what it says, so I'm not going to believe anything else. Most people cherry pick and they take different pieces that they like from each thing, and well, I like this. Oh, I like horoscopes. I like reading horoscopes and stuff, so yeah. I believe in Jesus. No, I do. And the God and the Bible and all that. But I also like horoscopes. And you literally have no evidence, no reason to believe any of it. It's all just shit you're told to believe. Horoscopes are so vaguely positive that anybody could just be like, oh yeah, it's definitely me. I'm reading my horoscope today. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Did you start a new stream? I had to. The previous stream, suddenly we were at around 45 minutes. We steadily had around 100 viewers, and we were over 3,000 views total, and the comments just stopped. Somebody shut the ability to comment off. And then I wasn't even sure, like, and then there was all sorts of weird shit happening with the feed. Like, strange. Just it's strange when you don't see it. For me, it makes total sense. Like, I absolutely, totally understand why the system does this to me. Hello, Jaslyn. They're terrified of me. The last thing they want is for you guys to start being like, hey, this guy makes sense. Let me share him with somebody. You mean it's okay to talk about the Jews? We're allowed to do that? If what they did was good, they would encourage us to talk about them. The idea that the Jews control as much as they do, 0.183% of the world's population controls Hollywood, controls the government. That's an amazing accomplishment. That's not like that's not a slur in any way. When you think about the things that are said about black people or Asian people or white people, whatever, you compare the slurs that you've heard from those people compared to they have all the money, power, and control. Like, which side would you rather be on? Like, it's really amazing how they've tricked you. And that's literally the best way to do it. When you have this many people, you have to trick them. They have to mentally self-police. You can't just police everybody physically. We'd revolt. You and your wife are terrible parents. Yes, we are. We beat our children every day. Spare the rod, spoil the child. Blah. So stupid.
What makes us terrible parents?
The fact that they can't argue anything I'm saying. So they're desperately trying to come up with something to shoot the messenger. And they're hoping that other people watching this will go, oh, they're terrible parents, so I'm not going to listen. But let me just put it to you this way. If I sold drugs and I beat the shit out of my wife every day, and I beat the shit out of my kids every day, and I cheated on my wife, and I kicked the dog, and whatever, sold drugs, took part in human trafficking, whatever it was. Would that somehow make anything I'm saying not true?
Well, you'd think after 15 years of being alive, any of that would come out if it were true.
But even still, if it was true, how does that change the fact that Jews control the world? How does that change the fact that you've been tricked into saying stupid shit like, you can't say that? This guy using his bong as a mic. Anybody that ever calls a bowl a bong, they're a square. They're a fucking square. So you got some dumb square talking some shit he doesn't understand. Gotcha. Your brain is that of melted ice cream on the sidewalk. Yep. I know that's the person that said we were bad parents, too. And that's the person who's a Jew. Never mind the Jew part.
They just said that instead of answering my question.
Of course, because this is what they do. They don't actually have any like real arguments. So they're desperately trying to shoot the messenger and hoping that anybody that might be on the fence, that might be like, hey, wait a minute, what's this guy talking about? They're hoping that it'll be enough to make you go, oh yeah, he is crazy. I'm not gonna listen. That's all they're trying to do. If they really want, like if I was really this bad, blah, 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 they wouldn't even be here, one. But if they were, they would address the things I'm saying. They've already proven they would. You know, they wouldn't be here. It's not like they want to contribute positively to the conversation. So if they're here just to talk shit, why aren't they talking shit about the things I'm actually saying? Am a human trafficker and it's well played job. Free time. Yeah. So this guy admits to being a human trafficker. I think he should be killed, but that's just on me, you know. I think anybody that does anything against people's will on a regular basis, you should be killed. You're a bad person. You think the Earth's flat submarines are real? You have the mental capacity of someone with brain trauma. If I have the mental capacity of someone with brain trauma, why are you here making fun of me?
That's mean.
What does that say about you? You're the type of person that repeatedly comes to the feed of somebody with brain trauma just to talk shit, not to try to help them understand what they're getting wrong or anything like that, just to talk shit. Man, you must be a great person. Bro, I didn't see it was a bull, just wanted to see a rip, man. Are aliens real? I've been dying to know. I mean, not what you think aliens are. What you think aliens are don't make sense. The idea that it's the producers, the directors, famous people, whatever, from outside the dome that are coming in here. I think there are three or four types of UFOs. The first type is the one that it just flies out in the open. I mean, it's an undeniable UFO. It's seen by thousands of people, filmed, all that shit. They just fly in the daytime. They don't give a fuck. Well, that's probably like the director or some sort of dignitary or something like that from the outside that wants to have a meeting with, say, a Donald Trump or a famous person on the inside. So they fly, and knowing that that'll cause more, more TV to watch, more distraction, and then, just something for the people to watch. They don't give a fuck. They think we're monkeys down here. What the fuck do they care if we see them or not? They don't give a fuck. They know, they can control the narrative, how it gets presented anyway, so who gives a fuck? Then I think the second ones that we see are maintenance, science. The scientists that are out down here snatching shit up and
Probing people's anuses,
doing whatever. I think there are multiple scientists doing all sorts of experiments on us, and those are part of it. And then there's the maintenance crew who are fixing the dome pieces or fixing the plumbing underneath or whatever it is. I think there's that. Then I think there's the third ones, which are like
tourists, rich tourists.
No, I think those are part of the first group, rich tourists. I think that the third group is like vigilantes. The kind that every once in a while you see like Navy jets are supposedly scrambled to go chase this thing or whatever. I think, or maybe they're even the ones that are doing like the crop circles and shit, trying to get through to tell us something, and there's just some sort of translation error or something. And who knows, they could even be doing the crop circles just to make us, to distract us. So we think it's aliens and shit. I mean, when it comes to aliens, it's just like anything else. At the end of the day, until we Goyim unify and overthrow the Jews that control the narrative, we're never going to know. We're never going to know. So, let's see. Submarines are real. I've been in a couple. We have live mic. 15 minutes in, 37 people here, and we have some more submariners here, as always. But submarines are all right, man. I conspiracy theories, but submarines are real. Someone call the cops and do a welfare check. Yep. See, you have this dumb Jew who is just desperate to do anything they can to stop this feed. Why would anyone care? Think about that. If I'm just some wrong, crazy person, why would anyone want my feed? Why wouldn't they just be like, you know,
This dude's crazy. And move on.
right? Like so many countless other feeds that exist. So many countless feeds exist, and there's not the Colton police force on there. But on this feed, oh boy, my grandfather served on one during the Korean War. Sure he did. I mean, whenever somebody says shit like that, you have to assume it's a nuclear sub, right? Because no, you have to, because the other subs don't work. The diesel powered subs are just the boats that you know, those subs can't, they freeze up. They even talk about, I mean, they're running a diesel engine underwater. Yeah. Lay out the LSD, you mess with the dome. They tried nuking it back in Operation Fistful. Yep, 100%. They absolutely did, according to the narrative. Well, according to the narrative, they were testing weapons. But you have to sort of put two and two together. But submarines are 100% real. Why? Because you've seen boats. When was the last time someone did a crop circle? Yeah, I don't know. I think they still exist and they still happen all the time. It's just not talked about anymore. Is there alien at Area 51? No, there's no such thing as aliens. We are just a reality TV show for a much more advanced version of ourselves. And the problem with this is I don't like talking about this. This is all theory. This is all my thoughts and what makes more sense to me than a Jesus or a Big Bang. But this is stuff that I can't necessarily prove because there's not too many people talking about it anyway. But if you just, you start looking at things and you just start answering the questions, they make sense. And you look at the clues that you've been given. That South Park episode was extremely telling. But it's up to you, and you probably fall for one of two, or actually both. Most people that believe in the Big Bang are also Christians. And most Christians believe in the Big Bang because if you say, the Bible says the earth is flat and it's a dome structure and blah, 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 most Christians are going to attack you.
Oh my God.
Right. And you're like, don't you know what your own Bible says? And they're like, shut up. Now somebody owns a submarine. Submarines are real. You're the one. You are something that can compare my not so great life to and say, you know what, at least I'm not in this bad a situation. And it's very entertaining to watch how actually mentally ill you are. So again, let's just say that's real. This person likes watching mentally ill people.
So that they feel better about themselves.
Right, so watching mentally ill people makes you feel better.
Ooh, at least I'm
But not
mentally ill.
but not debunking those people. Going on those people's pages and talking a bunch of shit, but not actually that makes you feel better about yourself. Wow. That's the most telling thing I could have read. Thank you. I never asked him if it was a nuclear submarine or not, but I can ask him. Ask him. I bet you he gets all weird. Bet you doesn't want to talk about it too much. The submarine stopping is getting people going, I swear. What do people think about James Cameron dive? Why would you think James Cameron, what is James Cameron known for? Do you know? James Cameron is known for making movies. So, you could absolutely trust anything you see from him on your TV movie screen, right? For sure. Do you think just because something is hard, we cannot do it? Yep, that's what I think. Like, it's weird when people start arguing their own thing. It's so weird. I don't think like I mince my words too much. I think like it's pretty obvious what I think. Like when I'm like, hey, like, share, and sub, it's because I want you to like, share, and sub. Don't forget to do that. I always forget. So when people remind me, I'm like, oh shit, and I do it. I've been on a submarine, says Tony Baloney. Whose narrative? Jew's narrative. I'd rather be anything other than that stupid or mentally ill. Uh-huh. Like, I'd rather be in a wheelchair than have a mind like this dude. Yeah, you'd hate to ask questions. Who's more powerful, Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk? They both work for the same people. It doesn't much matter. LOL, reality TV show for more advanced species than yourself. Right, aka this stream. Yeah, and everything else. It's more sense than the Big Bang, really. Yes, the Big Bang is stupid as hell. The Big Bang is when you understand like what you're told, it's a really stupid thing. I accept that the world is not always what it appears, but you need to be grounded. By who? By what? What do you where do you draw that line? Where does your arrogance come in? See, the thing about me is I'm humble enough to say it's all bullshit. They're lying to us about everything. I'm not going to sit here and pick and choose which fantasy fucking narratives I want to believe. And understanding that if they're lying about one thing, they're lying about everything. So, do you believe you can fly? Uh-huh. I'm going to go outside right now and fly around. And I watched this video about how collecting baseball cards cured his racism. It's a must-watch. Yep, it's a must-watch. I agree. Isn't it strange how this doofus is saying everything he can but addressing what's being said here? Oh, what do you think the history that we're taught in school actually starts? When do you think? It's not all made up filler. I think
when you tell your little ones that Christopher Columbus.
No, he's saying what part do you think is bullshit in as far as the history we're taught? Like
all of it.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day,
there's truth to little truths.
There's little truths, but you know, everything comes down to you don't know. They can tell you anything, and you just have to believe that's what it is, or you don't, whatever one you want. But the problem always lies in when you try to prove it. Like, it's crazy to think, like, I love how people think I'm sitting here one day and I'm going, how can I make everybody mad at me? Oh, I'm going to say submarines aren't real because that's going to make a bunch of people mad for some reason. I say shit about the Jews all the time. I say shit about Christians all the time. I say shit about the government. That doesn't seem to work. But if I start talking about submarines, people are going to lose their mind. Like, that's literally what I thought, huh? Like, I thought, I'm going to look this up. See, I do what none of you are willing to do, right? I make the statement, and then I go try to prove it right or wrong. And I don't look at the Alex Jones conspiracy stuff. I look at the things that they want me to know, the story I'm supposed to know. And it should be easy. Like, when it comes to submarines, it should be easy. I should have gone to the submarine stuff and been like, oh, well, guess I was wrong about that, huh?
These are t-shirts.
You know, guess I was wrong about that. Made a mistake there. Instead of consistently finding more and more shit to ask questions about. And being attacked by a whole bunch of people that I never thought, like, who would have ever thought so many people were so dedicated to submarines? It's so silly to think about it like that. Like, all these people are mad about this? Really? There are people that are supposedly on submarines right now. They got nothing else to do. They're so mad that I'm talking about this. Mentally ill, blah, blah. People that spreads false information should be charged or fined. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a government Jew anybody there, does it? What about the submarine? What again? It's so funny. People keep talking. What about that submarine that imploded? You mean the thing you saw on TV? You mean the weird, strange conspiracy narrative that there was like a 2-week story or whatever that you saw on TV? Yeah, what about it? We're laughing at you, not attacking you. Uh-huh. You must not be able to read very well. And if you think it bothers me, I'm not saying it because it bothers me. I'm trying to point it out to anybody that actually has a brain. Like, think about that. Why would this affect so many people like this? James says, nuclear subs are real, but subs as a big 13 school buses and can sink that far are fake. I don't know what the fuck that's about, but like you don't know the history of nuclear subs. It's like everybody that will talk about the James Webb Space Telescope, right? I guarantee none of you know anything about that shit. Oh, look, the Jew is calling me schizo. They always do this shit, the same stuff. I've seen a submarine in real life. I'm sure you have. I'm sure you've seen a boat in the water. It's the strangest thing. Did you ever think of all the things I've ever talked about? All the videos I've ever made, especially like talking about things in like a series or whatever, that the submarines thing was going to be the thing that really made everybody mad? Did you ever think that would be
because a lot of us have seen submarines. And then just...
Did you think it would make people this mad was the question. Did you think of all the things that I talk about that this would be the thing? I mean...
No, but it doesn't surprise me.
Every single person that's on here, well, not every single one, 99% of them believe in Jesus. That doesn't seem to bother them.
Yeah, but they haven't seen Jesus.
But they believe in it. Most of you guys have not seen submarines. You've seen a boat in the water. You know, you've maybe gone on a dry dock boat. I've seen one before underwater. I've heard them. I bet you have. And then there's that. Like, are we really going to say that we don't think the YouTube that's provided for free can't be infiltrated by the machine that wants to control the way we think? You know, when I know you think you've seen shit, but at the end of the day, there are things that you can't answer for that don't make any logical sense. Like the fact that all these supposed submarine videos where the guys are flying around underwater.
I've seen one go underwater. I've never seen one going through underwater.
Okay, yeah. You've seen one drop underwater, but you've never seen one go anywhere. But all the videos that we've seen of all the people inside the submarines, the fact that they are not affected by the movement, how does that make sense?
I don't believe those videos. I think that's a bunch of bullshit.
So all the videos.
What part of it I don't believe? I don't know.
Well, you don't believe it because your brain is telling you. Your brain is telling you that something isn't right about that. And what it is the fact that, and we've all had that experience. Whether you want to admit it or not, every time you've seen one of those and you've seen plenty of submarine videos, of people supposedly in a submarine, and you can look up plenty of those videos of people inside a submarine, right? I mean, I showed you them. There's even a video where they supposedly break through ice. How come when those people are inside the submarine and it's moving around or it's ascending or it's descending or it's crashing through the ice, there is no movement on the people's end? They're drawing. They're just standing there without swaying even a little bit. You explain that. And when you can't explain it and you go, well, it must be something fake, then the whole fucking thing is fake. Why would they fake videos if they didn't have to? I mean, it's common fucking sense. And then when you look at the breathing apparatus, how do they breathe? It's all bullshit. No waves underwater. Yeah, there's no waves underwater.
You're not gonna. I don't expect you to feel the waves, but if the vessel hits something somewhat solid, anyhow, I would expect you to be able to feel it while you're on that vessel, even if it's like a gyroscope,
Anything.
type of engineering inside. I would still expect you to feel, you know, uh, some of the impact a little, just like you do in an airplane with the turbulence.
Right.
I would anticipate, regardless of the engineering, that you would feel something.
So that in
Maybe
itself.
we're wrong. Maybe you don't feel. Maybe the design of the.
That's
I
not
don't
possible.
know. It doesn't seem likely. I'm not going to say it's not possible.
It is impossible.
It's not likely.
It is impossible. No, it is impossible. We do know engineer. See, you're discounting your own intelligence there, right? You're saying that somehow they've invented a system that people can crash through ice and not even.
I know, I saw the video.
Okay, right. So that's impossible, and you know it's impossible. You're just trying. I have to be wrong, so you're trying to come up with the way that I'm wrong. But that's how it is with everything. You have to look at the little pieces. Of course, there's a huge machine that is involved in trying to get you to believe what they want you to believe. Yeah, there's if you look up submarine coming up, there are 2 videos. Both of which explain this. Why is it when the submarines come up, Angela again, why when the submarines come up in the videos that we've seen, I didn't pick it. It could have been anything else. It could have made sense. Why is it when they come up like somebody let go of a balloon and it pops up and then it bobs a little bit? Okay, but you do, because if you were in a submarine and that wouldn't you slowly go up just like you slowly go down? And wouldn't that bobbing? I mean, that bobbing would throw the people around. The shit inside the sub would get thrown all around.
I would think.
You'd think.
But again, I don't know anything about that type of engineering to know what they're.
Why would that engineering only exist on subs? Why isn't that how it is?
Military technology?
I mean, but that's really like that's military technology that would have been the same since the 50s, and we would have had it by now. Especially if it made life easier for people, made life better.
Maybe.
What do you mean maybe? I mean it and when you look it up, there's no account of that. They don't talk about that. Oh yeah, everything is based on gyros. It wouldn't even make sense. Because you see the people crawling through all the different places in the sub and whatnot.
Okay, but that doesn't mean that there's not a space between that inner hub and the outer shell to create that gyroscope,
How would they have that?
I have no idea. I don't know anything. I just kept on saying that. I have no idea.
Right.
I have no knowledge
It doesn't
of
make
sort
any
of
sense.
engineering,
And
any of that.
that's also the place where the ballast tanks are too, right? Like it's not probable. I guess it's tanked oxygen. I'm just going to say it. Well, then people heavy duty on it. Yeah, look. We invented tiny nuclear reactors. Right. That's what it is. And who invented it? How about the whole Rickover story? The Rickover story makes sense to you? The guy that was in Washington and California and Philadelphia all at the same time in 1930.
Well, that doesn't make sense.
But it has to. If you believe in this part, this part, this part, well, you have to believe this part. This is the beginning part. This is how this guy got to be this guy. In the 50s, they decided they wanted nuclear subs, so they fucking made them. They just made them. Tiny little nuclear plants, not nuclear plants. Little individual nuclear plants that power the submarines. I mean, it's really, really, like, it's insultingly stupid. And there are parts of it that you don't bother to think about. You know, the idea that every 10 feet, or every foot, but every 10 feet the sub, you know, goes down or goes up, the pressure increases, you know, dramatically. So the pressure on the inside would have to automatically increase as the sub is moving around, increase and decrease, to keep the people inside from getting sick and whatnot, and to keep the sub from imploding on itself. But like, we don't have that. Like, we don't have the ability to fly through space. We barely have airplanes. Like, we should be so much more advanced, but for some reason we're not. And flying around in water is exponentially more difficult than it is to fly through the air. And that's what they're claiming. They claim that they can fly through the water. And it's just stupid. But this is all part of the Jew narrative. This is how they keep us in control. By the way, if you're watching, like, share, and sub. Helps out a lot. Gotta override this algorithm to keep people like me quiet. So help out. Get people you know that come in and answer questions. It'd be so much easier to do this if it weren't so many stupid people in the comments. I'd love to be able to answer people's comments, but they just keep going so fast. I can't even keep up. And it's all just stupid shit. The same stupid shit. Kamala. The same stupid fake Jew profiles. Why do you think the Jews are so threatened by me? Like, to think about the fact that there are multiple people who will talk about, this guy, go get a job, blah, blah, blah. It's 10 o'clock on a Wednesday. Why are they here?
Why don't you have a job?
What are they doing? Like, just think about how much stupidity you see on this feed, and you have to ask. Serious talk, though. A sub can go a max depth of 300 meters. The furthest part of the Marinara Trench is 1,100 meters, so why can't they go further down with all our technology? It's dumb. It's just dumb shit, dude. That's what it is. It's just dumb shit. I'm telling you, if you're seemingly at least a person that's asking reasonable questions, that means you're at least willing to look at things. Go try to find footage. Why is there no footage on YouTube of a camera on the front of a submarine swimming around underwater showing you what it can do? Why do the only 5 or so videos that exist look fake as hell? The one video supposedly showing the sub going down has to be edited 8 or 9 times because it's taking such a long time for the submarine to descend, and it's spitting up all this air. You know, like if you were, right, giving its location away, because that makes sense. Is the earth flat? The earth is not round. I've seen multiple videos from that marine biologist. Sure you have. Sure you have. You've not seen videos on the outside, just like you'll never see a video with the camera on the top of a rocket as it flies up and supposedly does whatever. They're always pointed at the ground. You're never going to see the camera on the front of a submarine as it starts to go under and then goes down. And why not? It's 2024. Shouldn't that video exist? Shouldn't that be an easily found thing? I mean, the same thing with the earth shape argument. It's 2024. That shouldn't be an argument. If the earth is round, the system should be, there are enough people out there that are at the very least questioning things. The system should be going out of its way to be like, hey, everybody, we know there's this flat earth thing happening. Here, we want to show you. Here's a camera on a ship or on some sort of vehicle, plane, whatever, that doesn't have a fisheye lens on it, that is witnessed by tons of people, doing its thing, that doesn't have any technical problems, glitches or whatever. It's just a really clear, obvious video. There's a video that'll show from a satellite somebody slowly zooming in all the way down on Australia and all these buildings upside down. Show us that shit. Why don't they just show us that shit? I mean, it's all lies. And the thing about all of this is it's doing what it does. We got 5 likes. Come on, guys, you can do better than that. Like, share, sub. Get more people on here. Get people on here to have this conversation. It's important. The thing about all this stuff is it's all just distraction. It's all there to distract us, to keep us preoccupied with shit that really doesn't matter. While they're off murdering people, they're committing genocide right now. Not only are they committing genocide, they're bragging about it on TV every day. And they have us sitting here talking about, well, my 2,000-year-old sky daddy is real. No, my 2,000-year-old sky daddy's real. They have us arguing about the shape of the earth. All these different things. Tartaria is the best distraction they've given us. Why? Because it's so obviously true. It's so obviously true. Anytime you look into anything Tartaria, you're just going to get validated. You're gonna see that the story is there's some crazy fire story. Somebody won a contest and they built the building within a year, and all this other bullshit. You're gonna see that same narrative every time you go looking into Tartaria. You're gonna be validated that something fucked up is happening. It's perfect, and that's what we're all looking for all the time, is that validation. So when it comes to Tartaria, you're getting that endorphin rush, that dopamine from being right all the time. It's addicting, and it's cool, and it makes sense, and it answers questions, and you already knew all this stuff. It's just validation. All of us know of a building in the downtown where we live, where it's surrounded by all these modern day skyscrapers, and then it'll be this weird church, and you're like, how the fuck did whoever build this church in 17 something or other? We all know it. Every time you go into a government building, like a Capitol building or whatever.
Don't ask how
yeah, you do. Yeah, you absolutely do. You walk into the Capitol building at any place, and you stand right in the entrance, and you walk up the stairs, and you walk into the entrance, and you see that big giant dome up above you, and all the marble and all the crazy designs and shit. And all of us go, how did they do this? Wow. We say it. We don't give it much thought, but we say it. We all know. That's our bodies, our minds telling us right off the bat that, hey, we're seeing something that doesn't make sense. How the fuck did they build this? That's such a legitimate question. And yet, the stories behind all of it is just bullshit. But again, it's still validating. You're still going to find narratives, and you're going to find bullshit narratives that make you go, yeah, see, I told you. See, I told you. So it's addicting. It's the same thing with like the Hollywood pedo stuff, right? As long as you can say, oh yeah, the casting couch and blah, I don't turn a blind eye to the pedophilia. You feel good about yourself. You tell yourself, fuck yeah, I'm better than most people, because most people, they don't even know. Or they do know and they don't talk about it. So it's this fantastic distraction, because you're never going to be like, well, clearly Hollywood's run by the Jews and controlled by the Jews, so let's look at it from that aspect. You're not supposed to. If you do, you get shunned. If you do, you get ostracized, and you know that. You've been told and programmed very well from a very young age that we do not talk about the Jews. And that's all it ever comes down to, because anytime you look into any of these conspiracies and you look far enough, you look who's surrounding Trump, who did Trump fill in, who has Trump been putting in all of the positions? Who controls, if you look up any president and you look up their cabinet, you look who's around them. Jewish speechwriter, Jewish, food picker, Jewish clothes picker, Jewish, everything they do, itinerary person. It's all Jew. They're surrounded by Jews. They're completely controlled by Jews. And as long as we're not talking about that, we're not talking about why have we given Israel $18 billion in the last year? Why do we give Israel $3.8 billion a year? Why are government officials allowed to be dual Israeli citizens? As long as we're not talking about that shit, they don't fucking care. They don't care what distraction they give us and we fall for. At the end of the day, when it comes to Tartaria, you literally only know what they want you to know. You're not gonna find it. Where are you doing your Tartaria research? Where? On the internet. And all you're gonna find is what they have allowed to be on the internet. What they allow the person searching to find. They control what things come up on your Google search. It's not just some random shit. They don't, they control the whole narrative. They control what we see, they control what we think, and at the end of the day, I think most of you, if you ask yourself, how much of what you think, how much of what you believe is actually your thing? Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Yeah, sure they are. You absolutely are. Until your opinion starts oppressing other people. Until your opinion puts you in this superior position and everybody else is supposed to cower and adhere to your stupid, goofy rules. And if they don't, they're bad people. Yeah, there's a problem there. All of you who are making reasonable comments, you can thank all the trolls for why I'm not acknowledging, because it's just happening so fast. Right? Never stop speaking your mind. You got to get you on television. I agree. How come it doesn't happen? How come I've offered this for years now? If I'm wrong, so someone like me, if you ask me about the Earth shape, I'm always going to tell people, go check out 200 proofs the Earth is not a spinning ball. I'll do some sort of talks with you, but if you're asking basic questions like, oh, well, how does the sun work? And blah, blah. I'm going to say, look, most of us are visual learners. So if we go and I sit here and I try to talk to you about it, it's not going to be nearly as effective as if you go see a video that has actual visual representation for you to look at and decide whether it makes sense to you or not. And of course, 200 proofs the Earth is not a spinning ball is one of the harder videos to find on YouTube. You can find a bunch of debunk videos that aren't shit, but you can't find the actual video. But I always tell people, get your pad and your paper, or your paper and your pencil, and just as you go through, write down each number that you can debunk. And then afterward, come to the feed and we'll go through it. And we'll talk about each number that you can debunk and how you can debunk each thing. And I'd love to do that. I think that would be great. Yet nobody ever takes me up on that. But that's what I'm sort of offering. I think, especially as far as a beginner thing goes, most people when they're arguing the Earth shape, it's not like they've looked into it. They're only arguing what they barely remember from school. they haven't looked into both sides and decided that, oh, these flat earth guys are making no sense whatsoever. They're just having that knee-jerk reaction that people have when you say there's no Jesus or whatever. Huh, how do you know? Well, like it's just a knee-jerk reaction.
Can you lift that basket there for me?
And they
Just can't put it out there. Oh no, they're all folded.
I know.
Just put it down.
Well, you need to put the thing out of the way. I can't just move that. There you go. Fuck, I forgot what I was saying. Yep. Does it to me every time. Fuck. I don't know. Oh, so my offer has always been, bring me on a TV show, bring me on a news panel or something. Get every Jewish philosopher you can find. Get every flat earth scientist. Like, it's amazing how Neil deGrasse Tyson has never actually gone head to head with a foolish flat earther. Why not? Why not make that video and then the argument's over? You crush everything the flat earther has to say, and then from here on out, anytime somebody brings it up, they go, yeah, well, what about that time that guy went on with Neil deGrasse Tyson and Neil just smashed him? You would think that would exist, and that's what I'm offering. Bring me on some sort of TV with all of your experts there, and I'll say my part, and then let them debunk it, and we'll just go back and forth, and if I'm wrong, and they successfully prove me wrong, I'll acknowledge it, and then from here on out, this video will exist in perpetuity, showing somebody that thought they were right and had a bunch of information and was, well researched, get their shit kicked in, and, you'll have your own 200 proofs. 200 proofs conspiracy theories are wacko, something like that. Why won't that happen? Why isn't that allowed to happen? Put me on regular TV so anybody and everybody can see it. So it's not just you got to pay to see it. It's everybody. So it's free. So everybody that has questions, so all the kids growing up can see, you don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. Look at how wacko this guy is. He got destroyed. Can you hand me a tissue, please? It's really, really easy. But it doesn't happen. It never happens. It's never actually happened. Can you explain why submarines aren't real? Yeah, let me just explain it real quick. Never mind the 9-part series that initially started this whole thing, spending hours explaining it. What about that flat earthers brought a gyroscope and improved themselves that the flat earth was round and had a 15-degree turn? Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know what is shown to me to be real. That's why I would have to do it. It would have to be something that I would absolutely trust, which is very, very little. I'd love to see that shit and see how they accidentally prove this or that, but you can't. I mean, you can proving with the gyroscope thing. You're only proving certain things. Like you could be proving that where you are is not as flat as some other place. Like, I don't think it's flat. My argument has never been that it's flat. My argument is that it's not a ball flying through space. So the whole is it flat thing is stupid. That's not what we're talking about here. There's clearly topography that needs to be accounted for. It's not flat. But hey, who cares about that? Take 2 sticks. Yep. Yeah, that experiment failed a long time ago. The 2 sticks experiment, isn't that Aries' failure? But it's see, at the end of the day, too, it doesn't really matter. Like, I'm not going to trust anything that's on TV, right? Because if it's on TV, it's allowed to be. I would think if it was letting me into this situation, they would fuck up and arrogantly think they're going to beat me, and I could see how that might work, but I think they're so leery of it. That's why you've never seen it. You've literally never seen anyone on TV saying things and getting it getting addressed. You'll see, like, somebody will say something, and then you'll see the thing after the fact where, like, the analyst will talk about it, but there's no, like, they're talking after the fact. They're not addressing things, and what they're saying isn't getting rebutted. It's a network program put on by the Jews. See, at the end of the day, I look at it from the bigger picture perspective. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson said, when you control how people think, what they think is secondary. And so when they have you, it's like every single one of you. Let's do the COVID thing, right? The flu thing. Every single one of you believes this. There's not even like deviations from this. Every single one of you believes that at some point each year, some person is walking down the street and suddenly they manifest whatever flu, whatever it is. They become patient zero. It just manifests inside them. And now they walk around coughing, and they become this like sprinkler system for whatever it is. And every time they cough and sneeze, they get invisible COVID sauce or flu sauce all over their hands. Well, there's two things that happen. If they sneeze, and let's say they're in an enclosed area, that sneeze turns into a COVID cloud, a COVID sauce cloud that just floats in the air, waiting for other people to come walking through it and breathe in. And then once they breathe in, now the germs go up their nose and they get them sick. Or if that's an area that has circulated air, as my neighbor said, a sneeze can go 60 feet. People believe that same sneeze, that same COVID sauce sneeze, can now go 60 feet. So as you're eating your food, and somebody sneezes across the restaurant, those COVID germs, those flu germs, they fly around, and as you breathe, as you eat, as you speak, they fly up in your nose and they get you sick. That's the cloud. Now remember, what we're talking about is extremely intelligent, right? Flu, COVID, whatever these viruses, whatever you want to call them, they're actually way, way smarter than people sort of give them credit for, right? Because these crazy intelligent viruses, they live inside of us 98 degrees, right? They manifest inside of us at 98 degrees. They then, like, it's not like flu season, cold season, whatever, is summertime. It's once it starts getting cold outside that we start, quote, catching colds, right? So the COVID clouds, the sauce cloud, is now going from the 98 point whatever degree body to the 50 degrees outside, 40 degrees outside. And it's just good. It's just good. It knows how to protect itself when it goes outside of a 98 degree body. So the other thing that happens, and this is the more dangerous thing, is that the people with the COVID, with the flu, they walk around and they cough and sneeze and stuff. Now, let's give credit where credit is due, right? If you cough or sneeze here, you're totally safe. Like, you're being responsible. You care about your fellow humanity. You're a good person because you cough and sneeze right here. If you go like this, a foot down, now you are a deadly psychopath who doesn't care about regular people, and now you have COVID sauce all over your hand. Here you're safe. Here it's COVID sauce. Here it's all to the gravy. You cough and sneeze all you want. Here we're all dead. Right? That's what you guys all believe, right? Now you have invisible COVID sauce all over your hands. And it's this weird self-replicating, because again, that cloud has to self-replicate, and the sauce on your hands has to self-replicate, but it's also invisible. And as you walk around, you who had the 98-degree body with the COVID inside you, now you're walking around and you're touching doorknobs, you're touching door handles, pens, walls, tables, whatever it is, and everything you touch, the COVID sauce, wherever you rub your hand across the table, now there's a COVID sauce swatch on the table. And it's this self-replicating thing. Like you can't wipe it off. If you wash your hands, it'll go down the drain. But if you don't wash your hands, it's just COVID sauce replicating over and over. Everything you touch, you're spreading it. And the thing is, it's so dangerous that you can have it and not even have any symptoms or know you have it. But you got the COVID sauce and you're touching things. And that COVID sauce, again, it can stay there. It sets up a little base camp, right? On the 50-degree countertop or whatever degree countertop. It just sits there and it waits now for some other person to come walking by, and they brush their hand through the COVID sauce, the invisible COVID sauce. They touch the doorknob. They use the same pen, whatever it is. Now they have COVID sauce self-replicating on their hands. And if they go and wash their hands, well, everything's fine. But if they touch their face, if they touch their nose, they scratch their ear, whatever, the COVID sauce knows that and it jumps off their hand onto their face, and it runs up their nose or in their mouth, and they get sick. Now, that just all depends on whether you have a strong immune system. I always ask people, hey, point to your immune system. Show me what your immune system is. I'll wait. I bet you don't know. Because what is it? Right? But you know that if you have a strong one, they're like these little white ninjas that sit at the openings. And anytime those COVID bugs come in, the white ninjas are like, and they chop that shit up and they kill it. And if you really want one, like a badass immune system, you'll go ahead and get yourself a shot. You'll go ahead and get yourself a steroid shot for the fucking immune system. Raw! Now your immune system is like badass. Well, I mean, you're going to get sick because most people that get sick actually got the shot. But still, never mind that. And literally, every single one of you believe this shit. You believe you get sick from these magical, super smart germs that exist. Isn't that crazy? God is stupid, guys. There is no God. God is for stupid people. God is for the sheep that can't think for themselves. Seriously. Think about every porn you've ever seen, especially the new stuff, where you can like adjust the camera angle, you can make it how you want, you can get super duper close if you want to, right? God has that view every time a child gets raped by clergy, and God does nothing. That's amazing, isn't it? Sounds like a God I want to believe in. I smoke all the meth, all of it. Yeah, it's all of it. Oh, yep, dropped out of 5th grade. It's about blood cells, yep. The super strong ninjas, the blood cells. Like, it's funny how you just believe these things. You never even question why you believe these. Well, that's what they told me to regurgitate in 5th grade when you dropped out. I love how people act like I don't know the same things they know. And I've learned more than they have. So I'm starting to ask questions. Isn't that weird? It's like, you think I just started off this way? Stay on topic. I'll talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. Subs are not real is the name of the fucking show, baby. We talk about whatever I want to talk about. God allows evil to exist because he allows free will. If you saw truth and listen, you'd open your so God is somebody like he can help you out, but you got to ask for it. And let's see. So the children that are getting raped every day by clergy and being held hostage and all that shit in the Vatican, and just there are multiple children consistently being raped by clergy. They just must not be praying the right way, huh? They must not be asking as good as you do. I know they're probably not tithing. I mean, they're kids, so God doesn't answer prayers. God answers
money, 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 money.
God answers tithing.
Money.
But see, this is one of those questions that people, oh no, that's free will. That's the free will. Ever in the history of man has a cop ever been driving through a neighborhood, suddenly had the urge to stop the car, run up to a door, kick in the door even though he doesn't have a warrant, where he busts a fucking pedophile ring and saves a whole bunch of kids? Never in the history of the Jesus has that happened. Yet people talk about Jesus was helping me swim faster than the other guys that were swimming hard. They were swimming fast too, but I was swimming faster. I threw the football. I threw it, and the other guy catched it. He catched it because God likes me. God likes my team this year. God's always doing all kinds of stupid shit. Never once has he helped, exposed a pedophile ring. Oh, yeah. Like how he ignored half of my comment passively and blah, blah. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Like how you ignore what I'm saying about the pedophile stuff and find every reason you can to not acknowledge it. This guy is spouting BS. Yep. Clergy doesn't rape children all the time. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? I've never even heard that story before. This guy's just making it up. Now, the Boy Scouts, that's bad. Because, you know about all those hundreds, thousands of stories that came out of the Boy Scouts, right? Again, all distraction bullshit. 2018, the Pennsylvania diocese, 6 of 8 of the Pennsylvania diocese, the other 2 were Amish, so somehow they have their own set of laws. They don't have to play along. But they're Amish, so you already know. 6 out of the 8 dioceses were riddled with pedos, where it was shown that they would get in trouble there and then get sent to different states all over the country. Hundreds of different stories. And you would have thought, this happened in Pennsylvania. It's basically 100%. Why aren't we going to every other diocese and knocking down the doors? Because the Jews that write the laws don't make that shit illegal like they should. Go to Virginia. I was in Virginia Beach. I did not see lots of subs. I lived right outside Langley Air Force Base. I also was down in Va Beach all the time. Please keep running at Christians and talking to them like this. We love you. You don't recognize. I understand, Leah. I was just like you at one point. Then I opened the Bible. Yeah, right. You were never like me. You can't tell me what this magical experience you had was that took you from thinking, man, I sure do hate all this crazy pedophile stuff and this shit's nonsense, to now I'm just going to believe it and turn a blind eye. You never were like me. And it's amazing how arrogant Christians are when it comes to it. They always assume people don't believe their nonsense because they don't know it. The more you know about Christianity, the more you understand how much bullshit it is. It comes out of Second Temple Judaism. It's just Jewish bullshit. It's just the Jewish slave religion. It's the one that they gave us to make us feel like we had some sort of, saving grace. As long as you follow the rules while you're down here, when you die, then you get to heaven. Yeah, you got to die first. And you got to follow all the rules first, but then you get to heaven. You think there's nothing bigger and greater than you. I don't think there's a silly God out there. No. That shit is stupid. Prove there's no God. Right on. I was waiting for it. Prove there's no God. Prove there's no leprechaun dancing in my hand. I have faith that there is a leprechaun dancing around in my hand, doing the little Irish jig. Diddly, 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 diddly. He grants wishes and shit. You guys don't see him? I see him. I have faith that there's a leprechaun in my hand. Prove that there's no leprechaun in my hand. The burden of proof falls on you, goofball. You're the one that believes the outrageous nonsense, not me. It's about Jesus dying on the cross to save us from breaking the... I love how that whole idea, so God, Jesus had to die for our sins. Who did God have to pay? Who came to God's house and was like, God, I don't know if you realize this, but the sin counter on your little earth thing is way, way high. Somebody's going to have to pay for this. And God's like, no, you can't repo my earth. I just got it how I liked it. Come on. And they're like, well, God, somebody's got to pay for all these sins. And God's like, all right, how about this? How about I impregnate a virgin with my son, and then you guys, the Jews, you can kill him. Will that count? And the sin people were like, hang on a second. Whipped out their cell phones. Hi, Bob. Yeah, I'm over here with Todd God. And his sin counter has gotten really, really high. I know, it's bad. I know. But he was saying, he came up with a little idea. He was wondering, could he impregnate a virgin and then let our people kill it? Would that count for all the sins? No, I know. No, I know. It's not wood. No, I'm not writing wood. No. He said he's good for it. Yep. He said he said he'll absolutely impregnate the virgin. No. I know last time the guy said no. He said he's going to do it. Okay, thanks a lot, John. You're great. You have a great enjoy your day. Yeah, okay, I will too. Okay, I will too. Bye. Yeah, good news. He never does this. But he said this one time, you can impregnate a virgin and let our people kill him. And that'll count for all your sins. And God was like, bet, I gotcha. And is that why Jesus had to die? Did Jesus have to die to pay the sin counter off? Do you know how stupid that shit is? It's as stupid as everything in the Bible. It's just dumb fucking nonsense. Like, share, sub. Don't forget to like, share, and sub if you're watching. Don't dislike. Throw the dislike on there. If you don't like what I'm doing, dislike the hell out of it, man. Do what you got to do. You want to hear the sub theories, go watch the other videos. Just prove it. Prove to yourself they do exist. Show yourself footage of submarines going through the water, and then you know I'm wrong. Just like the space station. Space station doesn't have anti-gravity fucking on it and shit. The space station is perpetually falling into the Earth's spin at 17,500 miles per hour. Yeah, we're doing spacewalks and shit out. Though the molecules up there are a lot thinner, so you can't really tell you're perpetually falling at 17,500 miles per hour. And it just looks like you're actually sitting still in a pool. Yeah, no, that's what it is. it really is amazing. Like the system has us believing in the invisible. Everything that exists is death, doom, and gloom, and it's invisible. And everybody believes in it in one way or another, multiple ways a lot of the times. Yeah, these meth blunts, man, gotta love them. It's fucking all rocks. It's all meth. The invisible thing is the funniest thing.
That's green.
No. Yes. No. No. They have you scared of the invisible and believing in the invisible for everything. First of all, we already talked about the invisible germs you believe in. You know, you can't see them. You just got to trust that the people that the Jews, and it's just like any other religion. You got to trust the Jews in faraway places that have access to things you don't have access to, that tell you what to think. Oh, dude, you can't go get a fucking microscope. Yeah, because I'm gonna be like, oh, here, look, Angela, look through the microscope. I've isolated the cold I sneezed on a slide, and you can see these are the blah blah cells. Now this one here, this is one of the cold cells. You see that? See, that's the virus right there. Yeah, because that's what it is, right? They have you believing in the invisible fucking germs, the invisible viruses, the invisible germs that were sort of discovered, were started to get weaponized. At the same time, the United States was going into all these wars with what we call Germany. They call themselves Deutschland. They speak Deutsch. But for some reason, we call them Germany. They are the germs. The bad guys for the next 30, 40 years, 40, 50 years, happen to have the same abbreviation as the germs. Okay. They have you believing in germs. They have you believing in invisible pole shifts. At some point, the poles could shift. It's happened before. How do you know? They told me that they had a woolly mammoth that had grass still in its mouth, meaning it must have been flash frozen, meaning the poles must have shifted. It must have been warm 1 second and then freezing cold. Because, even if the pole shifted, even if you went from, tropical wherever to, the coldest place on the earth, that doesn't flash freeze anything. Yet still, that's the narrative because of the woolly mammoth. That must mean that we've had invisible pole shifts. You're scared of invisible supervolcanoes. There's an invisible supervolcano. It's not invisible. Go to Yellowstone, dude.
Oh my God.
You looking at Yellowstone?
I was reading the word as you said it.
Oh no, that's a sign.
That's crazy.
Must be true. Invisible supervolcanoes. It's gonna blow up and wipe out everything on the earth. Everything is death, doom, and gloom. Everything. Obviously, there's the invisible devil. And with Christians, the very best thing that can happen is that goofy ass Jesus finally returns, and as soon as his little toenail touches the ground, that 15 good Christians that exist, they're going to get raptured up while the rest of us all die in Armageddon. That's the Christian's best case scenario. It's all invisible too. Invisible God, invisible Jesus. You believe in invisible rocks falling out of the sky. The invisible rock that's going to fall out of the sky and wipe us out just like it did the dinosaurs. Oh, fuck yeah. You believe in the invisible nukes. You don't get to see anything that has to do with nukes, but you believe in them. Because they tell you to. They showed you some old videos of models getting destroyed by something, but that must mean there's really nukes. What other invisibles do you believe in? You believe the invisible Big Bang. You believe in lots and lots of invisible shit. It's all bad guy shit. It's all death, doom, and gloom shit. Everything that you believe in will lead to our destruction. We're on a planet flying through the galaxy, just waiting to get destroyed. The invisible alien invasion that's going to get us. You believe in all of it. You believe in my invisible balls? Well, they are not visible to you, so I hope you believe in them. You don't realize it. And while you're distracted by all these invisible things, invisible dinosaurs, while you're distracted by all these invisible in Atlantis, invisible, visible Tartaria, while you're distracted by all this, they have you. They're committing genocide. They're literally killing women and children, dropping bombs on them, dropping American-made, American-funded bombs with American planes on innocent women and children for Jewish, for Jewish shit. This is like Dave Chappelle said. Dave Chappelle is who told you guys the rules. When Kanye played his part and distracted us from what was going on, when they were putting Netanyahu, a guy who's under indictment, when they were putting him in office along with his criminal cronies, Bezalel Smotrich, Itmar Ben Gvir, Avi Moaz, when they were putting these terrorists in charge, they had us all distracted by Kanye. And Kanye was telling us the rules, right? Supposedly Kanye says, and the funny thing is he had actually said this shit a while earlier, but they just decided to make a big deal out of it. You always have to remember, you would have never known anything Kanye said if not for the Jews that control the media. They told you to get upset. None of you follow Kanye. None of you were Kanye supporters. You read all of his tweets and shit like that. None of you knew what the fuck Kanye was talking about or cared until the Jewish media told you to care. Remember, Kanye's a guy who, during a really tumultuous time in our history, where black people were being considered refugees in their own country, in their own state, because of Katrina and the lack of response, Kanye West had the balls to say George Bush does not care about black people. He literally called the sitting president a racist. And that didn't get him canceled. Yet he says that he makes a threat against the Jews. So the first thing he does is make a threat. And that threat was, I'm going to go DEFCON 3 on the Jews. Whatever the fuck that means. I look at it like definite con. It's a definite con. It's the third one. First one was the George Bush thing. The second one was the mental breakdown thing, or maybe it was the Taylor Swift thing, not really sure. But this is DEFCON 3. It's definitely a con for everybody in the know, don't worry. The second thing he said was that I can say anti-Semitic things all I want. I am Semitic. Talking about the whole Semitism thing. He was saying I can speak freely, right? And I can speak freely about the Jews, which bled into the third thing, that Jews are involved in everybody's pockets, right? Everybody in the Hollywood and the entertainment industry has Jews in their pockets. So he was telling the truth. And the Jews are so stupid, right? They could easily say, yeah, well, the Jews have worked very, very hard behind the scenes to provide a platform where people of all races and religions and beliefs can express themselves and make money doing their music or their art, whatever. And yeah, we do. We work very hard behind the scenes, and we're very proud of what we've been able to provide for people. They could easily say that, and it would just disappear. Nobody would think anything of it. But instead, the Jews are so stupid, they say, no, you can't say that. You can't say that. Just like anytime you bring up the genocide they're committing, they say, you can't say that. They don't deny it. They just tell you, you're a dumb goyim. You can't say that. And for those that don't understand, I'm very proud of my anti-Semitisms. Anti-Semitism is not what you think it is. Anti-Semitism is anti-supremacy. You have to understand what the words mean. When somebody calls you anti-Semitic, you should take offense to that. That's wrong. That's some shit. That's saying you're racist against the Semitic people, which are the Palestinians, the Arabs, the Iraqis, the Iranians, the Lebanese, the Syrians, even the North Africans, like Kanye was saying. Black people are also Semitic. White people are also Semitic. If they're from that region, they're Semitic. So anti-Semitic is a racist term. Semitism means you believe in showing Jews favor, a policy or predisposition to show Jews favor, a policy or predisposition favorable to the Jews. Favorable to the Jews is supremacy. It's just a nice way of saying it. So anti-supremacy, you should absolutely be proud of your anti-supremacy. All of you. You should also like, share, and sub to the video. No doubt. Why wouldn't you? Bring as many people, dislike it too, whatever you got to do. Bring as many people as you can here to tell me what I'm wrong about. But understand what you're looking at. Understand what you're being shown. And when it comes to these Jews, it's pretty crazy, scary shit. Wow, man, these comments are coming so fast. Is there a firmament? I mean, you call it a firmament. It's the dome. I mean, it's all about, again, it doesn't even matter. We can't figure it out until we overthrow the Jews that control the narrative. So it really doesn't matter. And like I say, these Jews are stupid. They if they knew it, they know what they're doing. And when it comes to the Kanye thing, they distracted us. They told us we should be paying attention to this. And they were laying out the rules for what was going to happen. At the same time that they were putting Kanye, or that Kanye said this, they were putting Netanyahu and company in. So we weren't paying attention to that. We were paying attention to Kanye, and we were paying attention to this example of, look what we can do to a guy. We can make a guy lose $2 billion. What could we do to you? If you say the things Kanye said, if you threaten us, if you talk about our conspiracy, if you believe you can say whatever you want, look what we can do to Kanye. We'll do it to you. And if you're paying attention, or you did pay attention, Kanye never outed any Jews. Kanye literally only talked about black people. He only brought up black people that people already think are conspiracy people. Jay-Z, Beyonce, LeBron, Michael Jordan, Shaq, blah, blah, blah. He only named black people. At the end of the day, the only people he exposed were black people. And at the same time that was happening, you had Kyrie Irving, who makes Jews a lot of money as a really great basketball player. All he did was post a link. So every time I ask you guys to share the link, anything like that, he's the example for you. Kanye's the example for people like me. Kyrie was the example for people like you. If you think you're safe by just posting a link, you don't even have to say, hey, come check this out or anything. Because all Kyrie did was post a link. And the thing is, I would have never heard of the movie that Kyrie told us to go look at, which was From Hebrew to Negro. And it's how black people were the original Jews and blah, blah, blah. Bunch of nonsense. Bunch of distraction, bullshit nonsense. Doesn't matter. But that movie would have never been seen by, 90% of the people had the media not told us, hey, look what Kyrie did. And everybody went, well, what the hell is that video? Because that's what I did. I said, what video did Kyrie post? And I saw it. So because of the media, they told us. They told us to look. And again, Kyrie makes a lot of money for them and he got in trouble. So what's going to happen to you for sharing the video? And just in case you guys didn't quite get the message, Dave Chappelle just happened to be the host that week on Saturday Night Live where he laid it all out for you just in case you missed it. He starts by reading a little note saying, I support my Jewish friends and everything. I'm just telling jokes. Please don't take my money away, basically. And then he starts off by saying, I've been in Hollywood for 30 years, and there are two words that I know that you never say and anything comes after it, and that is the and Jews. And he basically goes on a 12-minute rant about how we shouldn't talk about Jews. We're not allowed to. Yes, everything is true. Yes, Kanye's true. At one point he says, I do have to say that the one thing Jewish people can't do is blame black people for what happened to them. And when he said that, the crowd completely, nobody laughed, it was like you could hear a pin drop. And it was this really weird moment because everybody was just rolling over laughing at all this stuff about Jewish conspiracy and all that stuff. But as soon as he said that Jews can't blame black people, it was just quiet. And somebody went, yeah. And Dave went, he gets it. And then everybody started laughing again and they went back into it. And then he talked about how Trump was going to win the election. And that was that. And he mentioned Kyrie. He laid it all out for you. You dumb Jew, you dumb Goyim, we dumb Goyim, we're not allowed to talk about this. And if we do, we're going to get in trouble. And then recently, you have another example of it where the supposed Epstein list was released, which turned out to be like thousands of loose papers, no uniformity. You'd have to be able to go through it. And if that was all we had, there's a conspiracy community out there that would go through all that shit and vet it all eventually. Luckily for the system, they employed Operation Cat and let Cat Williams go out and yet again do nothing but trash black people. And the two Jews he did mention were Epstein and Weinstein, a dead guy and a guy who was in trouble, who recently had the Jewish judge overturn his charges. He still has charges in California, maybe, but he's not in fucking jail anymore or anything. Who knows? Who knows? But Cat Williams came in to distract everybody again. Hey, don't worry about that bullshit Epstein list. Cat Williams is going to get you talking about the black people again. And now we have the biggest one that we've seen in a long time, which is Diddy. Suddenly, Diddy, who's doing nothing that Jews haven't been doing for decades, the whole time. Not saying it's good or not saying it's good or it's okay. It's fucking horrible. Diddy should get every fucking negative thing that comes his way. But Diddy was given that life, that career, that prestige by people who have been doing the same thing for a much longer time, and none of those people are getting in trouble. Yet again, you feel good because you talk about it. Yeah, I think Diddy's shit. I say Diddy, blah, blah, blah. I think this, that, and the other. And you feel good because you're like, I don't support that. Yet let me bring up Terry Richardson. You know who Terry Richardson is? No. Do you know who Leslie Moonves is? No. Do you know who Dan Schneider is? No. This has been going on forever. This has been going on forever. And instead of us unifying and saying, hey, we no longer want our children to be violated and victimized, whether it's in Hollywood or it's sent off to fight for your stupid entertainment wars or whatever it is, we're not going to let that happen anymore. Fuck your control. We're taking over. Why don't we do that?
Yes, I will. Yes. All right.
Think about how many profiles are on here right now just talking all kinds of stupid shit. And not one of them is like, yeah, fuck pedos and fuck all that. Not one of them. You think those are all real people or those are all Team Jorge bots? For those of you that don't know, Team Jorge, if you put Team Jorge Israel into your Google machine, you're gonna get the like smoking gun piece of evidence that shows you there's the Jewish Israeli conspiracy. Team Jorge is a I don't was is just one of Israel's many black ops operations that exist in the cyber security or cyber espionage realm. And they bragged, you know, they were a very well paid. They've been operating for over 20 years. You know, they Team Jorge had been in existence since at least 2015 when they interfered with the U.S. election. They tell you Russia interfered with the 2016 election. Literally no proof. And Trump lost. Russia supposedly interfered to help Trump win, and Trump lost by 2.7 million votes. So I don't know how Russia interfered, but if you say Israel interfered and Team Jorge interfered, and that's one of the 27 out of the 33 successful investigate or operations they ran, presidential level operations. They ran many other operations. And you find out that Team Jorge has 40,000 plus bots at their disposal on social media. And this was back in 2022, 2023. Who knows how many bot profiles they have now? Bot profiles to swarm program. There was a guy called Barbink. He was the former head of the Israeli cybersecurity apparatus. And he was interviewed by Al Jazeera journalists, where he said that they have their bot program set up to find anybody talking about Israel, Palestine, anything like that. They can have it set to anything they want. And when they do, whenever something gets flagged, they then take that content to Facebook. They contact Facebook somehow. And he said Facebook, quote, usually complies with the request to either take it down or shadow ban it or whatever. He said they absolutely control social media. These are two examples that absolutely exist. Go figure it out. Tell me I'm wrong. There's Project Nimbus, which is a multi-billion-dollar contract Google and Amazon both have with Israel, and it's this strangely worded contract that says anybody in any government organization in Israel is allowed to use this technology, regardless of, you know, without any Amazon and Google can't can't deny any branch of their government from using this. So even though they're using the technology in war violates the Google and Amazon like charter, they're not allowed to override and prevent Israel, the IDF, from using that technology. And there was a guy called, or no, a woman, I believe, called Portnoy, probably related to Dave Portnoy, but her last name was Portnoy. She was interviewed saying that Israel is on the battlefield and it's absolutely helping, while Google and Amazon issue a boilerplate thing saying we do not allow any sort of human rights to be like it's contradictory right there. You have an actual human saying that they're doing it, won't admit to actually how they're using it, but says they're absolutely using it. I mean, why would Israel and the IDF have a multi-billion-dollar contract with Amazon and Google to begin with? You know, I've done my share talking about submarines for the last few weeks. If you want to talk about submarines, there's plenty to be said in the first 9 videos. But to me, that's just that's just another distraction. And Israel, the Jews, that's who we're supposed to be distracted from. And if you want to talk about other things, you can talk about other things. There's probably, well, I know there's no other channels where somebody is questioning the legitimacy of submarines. Maybe there will be now. But this is so much more important. This is so much more important. They're just going to keep killing people. And they're just going to keep taking money. How many people, like, we give Israel $3.8 billion a year. Do you not think that could be used for much better things here in the States? I know here in Michigan, our roads need fixing something awful. But what about how on YouTube there's countless pedophile hunters out there? There are these groups that are successfully finding pedophiles, luring them out just repeatedly, over and over and over again. And we're told that the reason why the government doesn't do that more often, I guess, is because the funding isn't there. I don't know how many years of $3.8 billion you would need to set up a properly funded and well-run pedo hunter network. I can't imagine it would cost, $3.8 billion a year to run. But at least to get that shit going, I think that would be a better use of that money than giving it to Israel to kill people. And I think after that, once we establish that, what if we had, more programs for women that are being abused or need help, or drug programs, or fix the road programs, or what? $3.8 billion a year is a shit ton of money. Don't forget to like, share, and sub, guys. I'm going to keep reminding you because I know there are new people here. And sometimes people forget to do it. So it's just a friendly reminder. I mean, it's just so stupid. I'm not... Every time I look at the comments, it's just more dumb shit. It's so strange to me. It's the strangest shit to see how angry people are. And not at the right things. Yeah. There's a genocide happening right now. Right this minute. They are dropping bombs on people right this minute. They're kicking in doors. The Israelis love to raid people's houses and find the women's underwear drawers and put the underwear on over their camo, their gear, or hold them up in front and take pictures. Like, this isn't like a one-off. There's countless pictures like that. Why? What the fuck is going on? What are we talking about? These guys are sick. It's a sick situation, and you're paying for it. If you're an American, you're paying for it. If you're part of Western society, you're paying for it. If your government's white people, you're paying for it. Your government probably gives Israel lots of money. You know that the Canadian government gives an Israeli tech school more money every year than they give the University of Toronto? You know how fucking crazy that is? Why? Why would that make any sense whatsoever? I mean, this is the thing we should be talking about. This is the thing everybody should be focused on. Because it's them today, but it could be us next. We're dealing with psychotic people right now. But God created time. Yeah, God created time. God was like, there you go. And somebody was like, what's that? And he was like, that's the first watch, bitch. It's crazy. Great. Go ahead, try to look up time. Go ahead, try to look up where clocks came from and how how all that started. You won't find it. It's just going to be more crazy nonsense. I tried. I thought I would find, I don't know why. I always think I'm going to find stuff that makes me look stupid and I'm going to regret finding it. And maybe it's once I don't have that attitude and I'm confident that the story's bullshit that it's going to finally be true, but every time I look, it's always fucking stupid shit. It really is weird. Like it's as weird as this feed. Again, what am I saying that has everybody so mad? If you're not Jewish or Israeli, why are you mad at what I'm saying? If you're not a pedophile, why are you mad at what I'm saying? I never understand this shit. And it's funny because none of these guys ever actually seem to want to embrace that or engage that. Like, what's your issue? What motivates you to begin with? You'll get the people that'll go, oh, well, you're schizophrenic and you have mental issues, so I just like to make fun of people like that. Wow, that's says a lot more about you than me. Jews are good people. No, they're not. No, they're not. Jews are horrible people. Talking time. We should all be focused on Jews and money in Israel, is what you're saying. We should be focused on the proving me wrong. Why don't you just prove me wrong? If I'm wrong and there's not a Jewish conspiracy, then tell me. The thing is, if everybody lived this great life and everybody was just happy, what could I say? You know? If I could go live and I would have people that would embrace, be like, hey, let me help you understand, you're getting this wrong. But instead, all I get is just venom, venom, venom. Like, how is that not motivating? I don't understand, like, how, if everybody was happy and living a good life and nobody questioned things and everybody just believed in God and we all treated each other good and everything like that, why would I be stirring the pot trying to make things bad? But the problem is most of us are miserable. And the Jews who control the medical industry have so many people fucked up on drugs because they tell them that they're depressed. You are depressed. It's you have something wrong with you, so you're depressed. Here, let's try. Sweet Betty? What are we getting paid for this week? What do we get the best rips on this week? Oh, here. This is this new Cinco Pinko drill. You gotta try this. This shit'll take you on the whirlwind, man. Woo! You had to wait 6 weeks for it to fully kick in. So for those first 6 weeks, just sort of white knuckle it. But after that, you should feel good. And if it makes you want to kill yourself, just let me know. I got some other pills I'll give you.
And if you're allergic to it, don't take it.
Yeah, if you're allergic, don't take it. But I guess you won't know till you try, huh? And you get all fucked up and you can't feel anything and your vagina dries up and your dick doesn't work and you just and you push everyone away.
Your finger feels like it's on fire.
You
literally burning.
You fucking you have all these suicidal thoughts and all this crazy shit. And go figure, where you were depressed, you're worse now. Huh. But here, now take this one.
Start twitching.
Yeah.
That part, that's never gonna go away.
Right. You get this tardive dyskinesia. Yeah,
that's gonna be permanent.
You're gonna be doing that for a while.
For you or not,
here,
you're gonna have a face twitch.
Try this one. This one might eliminate the face twitch. Your foot might start tapping a lot more. Get the face twitch.
That'll be
right. It's fucking nuts.
And no, what's nuts is people are like, you know what? I'll try it.
Of course, it's not nuts. It's people are they've made lives so hard, so desperately hard, and then they blame us for it. They tell us it's our fault that society is crumbling because we're not willing to work hard or we're not willing to do this or that like our ancestors were. Yeah, well, our ancestors could make $20 a day and put their kids through college and have a TV and have a house and go on vacation once a year. And, our ancestors, they made in what we make in a year, they made that in like 10, 20 years. And they still were able to do a hell of a lot more than we can do with that great salary. You know, gas is $3 a gallon. My dad used to tell me he can remember when his father went into a gas station and blew a fucking fit because he was never ever going to pay 12 cents a gallon. What are you talking about? 12 cents? Like that's how money used to work. They used to give us opportunity. Now, be a kid in today's world and try to get yourself a 1-bedroom apartment. Good luck. Be not a kid, be anybody. How are you going to get yourself a 1-bedroom apartment? Where are you going to live? You got to live in the shit. Or you might have to, if you want to get your medication, well, your medication prescription is going to be $400. So, whatever you do, don't sell these pills to cover that $400. But you got to come up with the $400 for these pills. If you had a coupon or you were part of the JDL or whatever, we give them to you for free. But it's called capitalism. No, it's not. It's not capitalism.
No, it's sick.
It's a Jewish conspiracy. It's what it's.
Everybody should have access to the healthcare they need
right.
to live.
How many times you've been told that, like, if we had the free healthcare, the whole thing would just fall apart, blah, blah, blah. And why doesn't it fall apart everywhere else?
It absolutely would not.
We'd be better off.
Yes.
You think it would make more sense if you could treat people's ailments and whatnot, so then people could work, then things would be better.
The doctors wouldn't be run by the pharmaceutical and the insurance companies, which is what's happened, which is what makes doctors miserable and hate their jobs to begin with. You take those two evils out of that equation, doctors can go back to doing what they got into it for, which is healing people, helping people, making them better.
Some of them. Some of them just get into it for the money. Some of them get into it for whatever they have to. They're forced into it.
A lot of that will get weeded out too. If
Nepotism and shit.
Get rid of the pharmaceutical.
But see, at the same time, why aren't we paying teachers doctor salaries?
Because there's no pharmaceutical companies or insurance companies involved.
But at the same, we just make money out of nothing. Money's created out of nothing. So it's all fucking nuts. It's all a system that none of us would do if we could. None of us would be like, all right, so all of the dual Israeli citizens in our government and all the other government people, they make several $100,000 a year. They work, 4 months out of the year maybe, and by work I mean they barely read lines off of pieces of paper and shit. Like, it's just a joke. Do any of you think you couldn't do the job of a congressman or a senator or a president? Do you guys really think you guys couldn't do that easy ass shit? It's easy, stupid nonsense. What do you got to get up, you got to get driven to work by like 9, and you go out, you like, how many of you honestly think the president of the United States, doesn't matter who it is, sits at their desk with the budget figures each day and crunches everything down and, okay, budget looks like it's on par for today, and let me get the foreign policy papers, Betty, and Betty brings, and you're like, okay, let me see. Oh, we have a new conflict brewing over here. Oh, this guy wants. Well, let me make some phone calls, and then he. Okay, so now let me get the healthcare stuff. Let me go through the healthcare figures real quick. And you really think they do that in that couple of hours that they're there, and then they go to their 2-hour lunch break where they drink martinis or scotch or whatever, and then they go back to work or go to an appearance or whatever, and they go to to dinner and then they go to some other appearance afterward. And like, that job is amazing. Any of you could do that. Any of you could do that. And those are all welfare citizens. They don't do shit for work. But you guys, you guys think that your vote matters. I don't know how else to prove it to you other than the 2016 election. All of you that talk about the Electoral College, blah, blah, blah. How come the Electoral College only mattered 3 times in recent modern history? Every other time the Electoral College lines up with the people. But in 2000, when both times that George Bush Jr. won, the Electoral College had to step in. And the first time Trump won, well, he lost by 2.7 million votes. And the swamp that he was going to drain put him in anyway. Like, and then Hillary, who would have been gone down in the history of everything as the first female president, she literally won the election. She was like, oh, okay, see ya. Trump, who lost in 2020, legit lost, still made a big deal, cried about it, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Hillary won, was told she got overrun, and was like, nope, okay, I'm out, see ya. I don't need to be the first. Hang on a second.
We woke up with snow this morning.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot. It didn't stick around very long, but it was there. My windshield wipers had to do some work this morning. It sucked. I am so not up for this shit.
You should live somewhere else.
You're absolutely right. Somebody send me a bunch of money so I can move my family somewhere warm.
They know you came to me? Yeah, well, it didn't help that you were poking around a Pentagon contractor. This is bad. NSA thinks I'm some kind of rogue agent, like I got an agenda to embarrass the government. So
it's sad because I do kind of like the snow. My body detests the cold.
these guys stole Pentagon relationships. You should just let the feds go after them.
No, I mean, why wouldn't you? It's gross. It's awful. Not a good thing. I mean, this is just crazy. If Jesus loves anybody, if Jesus doesn't, how come Jesus doesn't love the children being held hostage and daily raped by clergy in the Vatican? How come he doesn't help them? How come he doesn't love them? If you think your prayer works and you're praying for anything other than the clergy stops raping children, you're a selfish prick. The fact that you would have to pray for that is the reason why I would never want to believe in that bullshit. Okay, tell him, just give me a little busy at the moment. Just give me a little bit. I'll send you a video of everything. Like, what a weird fucking... It's always so weird to me how often I bring up that kind of stuff. And instead of being like, man, you're right, that's fucked up, blah, blah. They just always just be like, oh, yeah, well. Ask if he likes UFC stuff, too. It's just strange. Lady God is not nice. A nice person. He is a vengeful creator who allows terrible things to happen so that one day you may repent for your sins for the love of Christ. Yeah, it's fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid. God is God has every view you can imagine of the children being raped. As close as you can get, God is there, right? And instead of going dinkle, dinkle, dink, and making the guy have a heart attack or something like that, when he first starts thinking that way and first goes, okay, I'm going to go do this, instead of giving him a heart attack, dinkle, dinkle, dink, God's just like, eating his popcorn. Could be interesting. Man, it's too bad all the free will exists. Can't do anything about it, huh? It's fucking awful, man. It's just awful. You can't just pray for something and not do anything to change it. Yeah, see, no matter what you say, you're never going to be able to make it make sense that I guess the kids just aren't praying right. The kids just aren't tithing enough. Why are the kids getting raped and nobody's doing anything about it? I try my best and I get shut down. How come God doesn't go, hey, you know what? This guy's pure in his heart. I'm going to boost his feed. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure this guy is heard because he's saying the right things. There should be no children being violated in my house. How come God doesn't do that shit? Oh, I believe when you believe. That's my truth. I push my faith upon like other. Yeah, whatever.
It's a visual search tool developed by DARPA that displays.
Did you tell me? My wife said she.
No.
Yeah, well, here it is. In this case,
I was raped as a kid and God took away all the pain. See, that's the stupidity that they tell you. So, God took away the pain. God didn't stop it from happening. Like, I saw this video not too long ago. Maybe it was a while ago. But this girl had apparently been driving and her car flipped over. And as it flipped, I think the guardrail went through the passenger side, through the window in the passenger side right next to her. And skewered the car. But she got out, she was fine, nothing was wrong with her. So this dumb white dude pulls up to the accident, and he's like, my daughter was in this accident. And he's showing the video, and he's like, it's just the testament to how wonderful God is. Because she walked away from this just fine. And then he goes and he shoves the camera in her face, and she's like, this is embarrassing. What's up? Yep. She's
Shut
like,
your mouth.
this is embarrassing.
You
Like,
curse
she doesn't
like that again, you're grounded.
she doesn't want anything to do with it. But he's like, no, that's not gonna happen. She's like, he's all crying and blubbering about how wonderful God is because he allowed the car accident to happen.
You're disowned.
Like it's that level of stupid that I can't even begin to imagine. So God protected me, but let me have to deal with the aches and pains that are undoubtedly going to come tomorrow. Let me have to deal with the insurance hike. Let me have to deal with buying a new car. Let me have to deal with whatever tickets come from it, whatever trauma comes from it, all that stuff. No, that's fine. Thanks God. It's so weird.
Oh, look at that one.
Look at this guy says, these people are hilarious. Send me money while I bitch on YouTube about welfare citizens. Yep. Because I'm always asking you guys for money. That's me. You guys have heard me give you guys the PayPal address to send money to over and over again, right? Not, hey, go get your free download, www.the-bilderberg, bilderberg-group.com. Put 0 in the payment box, and it's $0 to download. You can put $100 in there if you want to. 1,000, 10,000, a billion, $1 dollars, $3.8 billion. So you're gonna get the same download. So whatever you want to put in there, you can, but it's free. But that's me, bitching and asking for money. You know me. My girl is saying, send me money so I can move. You said send you money. Oh yeah, right.
Oh, Jesus.
She was serious.
Oh my God,
So
it was
no,
so
I so absolutely
serious.
appreciate that. Because that's a great example to show you guys that these trolls do pay attention and they can comment on what's being said. So, of all the things that are being said, all the things that this guy chose to comment on,
That's hilarious.
he chose an obvious smartass response to try to make serious because he can't debunk anything else I'm saying. Isn't that
I
crazy?
expect somebody to send us like $500,000 so we can move our entire family and buy a house.
Right,
I
for sure.
fully expect that.
And that's the guy that says Jesus loves you. So it's okay to give the church all your money.
Right.
Go ahead and give those pedos all your money.
But I make a joke about it.
Right.
We're gonna make
What
it
a
work.
what a des. To me, I so greatly appreciate that. That desperate stupidity. When I tell you that's literally all people can. That's all you can argue against what I'm saying. What I talk about makes sense. The only way you can argue against what I'm saying is if you're fucking stupid. You're stupid, you're a bad person, one of those kinds of things. It's the mail, I'm sure. That's the mail work.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Send us all your money. That's so dumb.
That's what we've been saying the whole time.
That's so dumb. Yeah. Don't expect. The only time we've asked for money has been like for other people that have either lost all their shit or, from fires or, whatever to try to help people. I think many, 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 many years ago, he did a GoFundMe for something, but then ended up switching it over to Josh's kids shit after. That wasn't the mail. Yeah.
No mail for you. Anyway, yeah, that's enough. If you're here, always appreciate it. Go give me money. Grab your free download. The link will be in the description. Have a great day. Be good to each other. And pedophiles, kill yourself.